Fearless Gamers, Matt here for Fearless Games, and we are continuing on with how to run a Battlefield Gothic campaign. Now, quick thing before we go on, just a little amendment or correction to what I said before. The Imperial players don't get to pick their locations first. You do a roll-off. It's because we did it with Rise of the Magi. We had it where we just had Imperial players pick their systems first. So that's why that kind of confused me a little bit. But you do a roll-off. I would suggest doing one for each team. So one guy for the Imperials roles, one guy for the Chaos roles. If you want to do individual players, go right ahead. And now you picked up your guys, and with your commander, one note is their commanding leadership is 8, and they start with 1 renown point, and this is marked on your fleet registry list. And with that, you then are ready for your first series of turns. Battlefield Gothic says, just start playing battles. Have everyone challenge each other and just have a good old time and keep record of what you're doing. I find that's a little chaotic. So what we did is we broke it down into Imperials, Chaos. Whoever you do a roll-off to see who goes first, or just make it Chaos goes first or Imperial goes first. It's your decision. And then you have each one on that team challenge someone on the other side. Usually recommend not allowing someone to choose only one person because it's kind of unfair and it kind of is picking on one dude and could cause a little bit of issues, especially since the only way to really benefit from anything is to gain renown and fight battles. So you each have each Imperial player challenge a Chaos player, and you can, the game does allow, the campaign rules say everyone's allowed to refuse a challenge, and if you decide to put that into play, you might want to put in a penalty system. The book recommends that for the first couple of nights, if they're not joining any games or such, they lose a point of leadership, or was it renown? A point of renown, because they're getting discredited because, like, well, what has he done recently? What has he done in this war? If they're like going for a month or like 2 turns or 3 turns without taking any battles, they lose a system and it goes to the other side. You can either have it go to the other team and randomly distribute it, or make it go neutral, your choice. I kind of like the idea of having it go to the other side and then the other guys like roll off to see who gets the system. That way it kind of shows that it is important that you do, like, if you can't play in a game, you got to set something up and you got to commit to playing games if you're going to be in a campaign. Because what's the point of being in a campaign if you're not going to play in it? After that, you then have each player challenge the other side. Now, I always had this rule put in, you couldn't directly attack their controlling system, because you don't want to have them get rid of the guys in turn 1. We did play it where if you lost all your systems, you were out of the game. You can modify that if you like. You can make it where they just have to start over, some penalty system or something like that. It's all dependent on you. That's what's great about campaigns, as I said again. You're in control. You can make the rules the way your team will feel about it. For us, with Rise of the Magi, we did it this way for more cinematic purposes. You know, if the Chaos forces were destroyed, they wouldn't just go, okay, let's start over again. No, they're driven out of the system. They are done. That's why we did it that way, for a more cinematic feel. So we're going to go with one group, one team challenges another team. They pick a system, either controlled by nobody, themselves, or their opponent. And then they roll, and then the attacker rolls on the battle chart. It could either be, depending on the roll, it could be it could be a battle, or it could be a raid. On a 1 through 2, it's a raid, and your minimum points is 500, your maximum is 750. And if it's a battle, which is 3 to 6, it's either 750 points to 115 points. And then you roll on whichever appropriate chart that you picked a mission that your category is, and you play that battle. Now for Eldar and Orcs, they could only run raids. If they roll a battle result, they still roll on the raid chart, but they use the larger point values. Now on the Eldar side, this is only true for the Corsairs, the Dark Eldar. The Craft World we kind of elevated to full army size so they can fight battles or raids, whichever. And then you go off and you play your game. And then there's these things called subplots. Beginning of each game, each player rolls on a chart of their choosing. There's 3 charts to get a subplot. The subplots give them some sort of either you gain this type of bonus, but then you have to win the match, or you must complete this task within your mission. So some of them may just be cripple a ship, or don't have one ship blow up, or it could be something simple as win the game with these bonuses, or win the game with these disabilities. And some forces like AdMech have their own special subplots to run with this. And then there's there's 2 numbers, usually one number, a slash, and then a minus number, or a plus number. These are the value of these missions that you gain at the end of the game if you win, which is the first number, slash the result of if you lose. So if it's +1 / -1, if you win or achieve the mission, you gain +1 renown, which we'll go over in a minute. But if you fail to do what it is, or you lose the battle, you lose 1 point of renown. So you play your mission as the mission setup is done, states, and then you tally up your results, and then you go on to the end of the match, which is goes into let's see, it goes into the spoils of war, adjustments of renown, promotion and demotions, ship experience, repairs, withdrawals, and appeals. We're going to break this down. In this video, we're only going to go up to adjusting renown, and then we're going to do a conclusion video that will discuss what happens after that. So, spoils of war, you gain control of the system. You only gain control of the system if you can draw a warp route straight to that planet system from a system you control. If you can't, you don't actually control the territory. In a raid, you only control this system for this turn. At the end of your turn, when it resets back to you, you lose control of the system, unless you run a battle. So for Orcs and Eldar, they always temporarily own systems. So now if the system that you're fighting over was controlled by the enemy or neutral, you gain control of it. You then tally up your new renown level, which you gain from certain circumstances. You gain renown by winning a battle or major raid. You gain +2. Winning a raid is +1. Now, a major raid is again, for the Eldars and Orcs, a raid using the battle points values. For every 100, you take the victory points for that game, divide it by 100, round up. That's a number of renown you earned for victory points that you earned. Subplot, that's where those, 2 renown, 1 renown comes into play. So you look to see if you achieved or failed at your subplot and adjust your renown and gain your renown if you did so. For each capital ship hulk, so this is very ambiguous, I go with enemy vessels. So any enemy vessel that was hulked and stayed on the table, you gain a point of renown for each one because you captured them. Fought a commander with a higher renown gains you a +1. Fought a fleet with higher points value and lost gains you 1 renown. Fighting a fleet with higher points value and 1 gains you 2 renown. But you lose renown if you lose a battle. You lose 1 renown. Losing a raid, you lose a renown. Each capital ship that you lost is 1 point reduced. And subplots, whatever your subplot says you lose in the renown if you happen to fail in either winning the match or doing whatever the mission is, that's how much renown you lose. You then tally those points up, and that is your new renown setup. And we then go on to the final piece, which is the rounding up. It goes promotions, repairs, withdrawals, and demotions. So we're going to stop right there. And then one thing we're going to address first is just pirate bases. Since you can't actually find the pirate bases because they're hidden, you may want to attack the Eldar player and get them off the field, or just get them to stop using their base because they generate renown from their bases. they generate resources from their bases. So how would you go about trying to find an Eldar or Orc base, Corsair, Dark Eldar, or Orc pirate base? The way you do is the attacker must, however, find its base. Roll a d6 and multiply the score by 10. If you roll under the Orc or Eldar side's renown, then you've tracked down their base and the system that it's been hidden in must be revealed. The player must say which system it is. If the player fails to find the base, the roll is higher. The roll is higher than the defending player's renown, the Orc or Eldar player. Then play a normal scenario. Once you know the location of the base, you don't have to find it again. You can reveal its location to other players too if you want. So say if if the Chaos player discovers where the Eldar pirate base is, he could tell the Necron player, and then the Necron player knows. Now, once the base has been found, the player must attack it if he controls the system or if it's neutral. So because bases can be put on enemy systems that they control. So if it happens to be on their system, they can declare a battle there. If it's in a neutral system, they can. But if it's controlled by another player, they can't actually attack the base. They're protected. That's one of the benefits of the Eldar and the Corsairs, the Dark Eldar, and the Orcs, is the fact that they can get a little bit of extra protection on their main pirate bases, so it's a little harder to get rid of them in campaigns. Now, assuming you find the base and it is in a location where you can attack it, you then either play the Planetary Assault or Exterminatus scenario instead of rolling on the chart. And if the attacker wins, then the base is destroyed and can no longer be used by the Orc or Eldar player. They are the only force that I kind of would make it where they can jump to another system, because they can't control systems. There's no way for them to stay on the board that easily. So that's the one force that I think could be easily to move different pirate bases around if they have to. But that's, again, all entirely up to you. And that's how running the game piece would be. Something to spice it up, like halfway through your campaign, you may want to do a thematic game where you take the results of the campaign thus far and create a mission around that, and then that sets in motion any types of plots or changes to your campaign. But that is, again, where the creativity of your own take on the campaign comes into play. So play around with it and see what it does, see what you think your players would enjoy, and just play and build off of that. So that's it for this episode. We've got one more left to do where we will discuss the what you do at the end of each turn, and then how it goes off to the end of the campaign. So, again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. At the end of this series, I will do a FAQ video where I'll answer the questions left in the comments section about the campaigns and such. And then that'll be all. So if you haven't already, like this video. That way more people can see it and get the video circulating. Check us out on Facebook and on our webpage at fearlessgames.com. And subscribe to us here on YouTube. That way you can get these videos as they come out. And that's all for right now. So thank you all again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, Fearless Gamers, take care.